Welcome to Inclusive Pathways, the podcast where we break down barriers, build connections, and reimagine what inclusion truly means. I'm Jessica Winchester, and I'm the CEO of Inclusive Pathways and your host. Every week, we dive deep into the heart of disability inclusion and explore how it goes beyond just policy. It's really a mindset that drives innovation, resilience, and authentic equity. To keep up with Inclusive Pathways, be sure to follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram for exclusive content, and find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Today, I'm really excited to welcome back Michael Grimmett to the show. Michael is an amazing advocate and a leader in disability inclusion. He brings not only his expertise, but a powerful personal journey, and that has fueled his mission to make workplaces and other organizations and all around the world more accessible for everybody. So Michael, I'm really happy to have you back on again, and always happy to talk with you and laugh with
Thank
you
you.
and celebrate with you. Could you start by sharing a little bit for those who might be just tuning in today about who you are, your background, and where they can follow you, where they can find you?
And thank you, Jessica. So I am Michael Grimmett, and I am a disability advocate, trainer, and speaker living in the UK. And you can find me mainly on LinkedIn, so feel free to connect. So my role that I discuss quite a lot around how to include disabled people in everything and how to remove barriers that we face in society.
That is just like the tip of the iceberg. You have been doing so much with disability inclusion, and you've been so busy this last however many months
Yeah,
doing great work.
yeah,
So I'm so
yeah.
excited you've made the time to come on board and talk about disability inclusion with me. So I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for joining us. Um, Today, I really wanted to talk about a topic that I think not really very many people, I don't think people understand. You know, when we talk about celebrating, I think we think of like fireworks and everything kind of, um, partying and sort of, but there is also a different type of celebration, I would say. When we talk about celebrating disability, what does that mean? That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to show outwardly, but sometimes that inward celebration, or maybe within an organization, a celebration. What does that truly mean, Michael? What would you say celebrating disability truly is?
I think I uh, I think that seeing your disability not as a problem and embracing it as much as you can. In the UK, there's 1 in 4 people are just disabled, and there's nothing wrong with being disabled. It's about how society can adapt to include you rather than you always having to adapt to include society. So I think that's the main thing for me, and I think the word disability or the word dis is always seen as a negative,
Mhm.
and I don't think it should be. I think you should celebrate who you are, and yeah, it's generally just. I know that down the heart, people have different kinds of impairments or disabilities, but just yeah, appreciate it is harder, but you should be proud of who you are.
Mhm. Right?
Yeah,
When we talk about like the difference between identity first versus person first. I'm not sure in the UK if that's kind of what the discussion is, but over here in the States, we have sometimes people say they'd rather be person first. So that way the person comes before the disability,
yeah,
whereas identity first is
yeah,
the identity that,
yeah,
embracing, celebrating the disability.
yeah. So in the UK, we often have the same debate, and I think I always say disabled person rather than a person with a disability.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do. It's up to that individual what they want to say. I'm not gonna preach to people about what they should and what they shouldn't say. Me personally, sorry, I'm just a disabled person. I'm not a person with X, Y, Z. But
Mm-hmm.
that's how I choose to identify my way there. Other people may I choose to want to be known as a person with whatever their impairment or disability, and that's entirely up to them. I don't think they're right, but I do really respect that opinion.
I agree with you. I
Yeah,
think that, everybody has a different opinion. And so, especially us as like either a provider or an advocate, that's really important to make
yeah,
sure that the person is respected and their what how they want to be identified is the way that we
yeah,
choose to move forward. I also one time I was working with an individual or meeting up with an individual, and I had been kind of trained. This was a while ago. I kind of been trained that person first language, and after a while, he was just like, you know what, just call me John, Jessica. Like, just call me John. Don't worry about all this other
yeah,
stuff. You know?
and that's the other thing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just the human side of it, isn't it?
It is
I think
exactly.
because we're like so conscious of saying the wrong thing as well.
Mhm.
So that's why I kind of let people do, choose what, because it
Yeah.
makes them feel more comfortable. Then
Yeah.
in the film Fighters, bit of a plug, and you will see different kind of language now coming from all the disabled people that were taking part.
Tell everybody what Fighters is first, and then let's talk a little bit more about it.
So Fighters is a documentary, an hour long, about a lower limbed amputee called Matthew Edwards and his fight to get an amateur boxing license. So in the UK, you're not supposed to have a boxing license um, if you're if you're an amputee and other impairments. The only disability that impairment that is meant to be allowed is death, and any other disability or impairment isn't allowed. The focus isn't about boxing per se, whether or not it's right or wrong. It's about the fight that still people have to face on a daily basis to have barriers removed. So when Jack, who's the film director, approached me via LinkedIn and said, "Can we work together? And can you help find some good cast members?" We did that together. Jack did the whole lot. I just kind of directed him and provided him with the lived experience. And without sounding too biased, I think we've done quite a good job. I'm quite happy to provide the trailer, and I hope one day it comes to the US. And it's also about how resilient disabled people are, and about how anybody, if you're a disabled person or non-disabled person, can join the fight for disability inclusion. So Essie Hardy, who's the wonderful speaker, she always says that even if you're a non-disabled person, you can still champion for disabled people. I think that's really important in
Mhm.
today's world. That if a shop doesn't have a ramp, and even if you're not a disabled person, you can still go in there and you still challenge that shop, and
Mhm.
that is only okay. Because we need allies. So that's roughly what the film is about. There's a lot more to it than that. All right, so yeah, no, and without sounding too big-headed, I think Jack did a marvelous job, and yeah,
And it looks amazing. And I follow you on your LinkedIn and making sure I
yeah,
keep up with it. And everything that has been posted or shared looks just truly awesome. And I
yeah.
hope one day we can get it to the States. I really do.
One day, I hope so. And I have to say, it's definitely my proudest project.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's about having some kind of you know film that the Sail people have created,
Hmm.
and and actually tells the viewpoint of the Sail people.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
It's super important. And I love that you bring up that we need allies, right? We need to work
Yeah,
together. Because I think
yeah,
there's sometimes a lot of talk around like people who are not disabled, versus disabled individuals
yeah,
that, don't advocate on my behalf. And I think
yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess maybe what is your opinion about that? I want to ask you.
I I can see how the disability movement feels that, but I also think it's up to Sail people to bring subject matters to the fore so that everybody can understand. So
Hmm.
I can understand, to be quite honest, yeah, the barrier that non-disabled people face. I wouldn't, because I'm a disabled person. So therefore, yeah, we can both be allies to each other.
Hmm.
And if there's a shop with a level or a film studio with level entry that know all the benefits, wheelchair users with all the benefits, people with prams, delivery drivers. There's not just people that benefit from that. It's the
Yeah.
whole of society, isn't it?
We need to join together and advocate because I think that's how we get things done. That's how we show the importance. That's how we move things forward in the world.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
absolutely. And what's happening in the US is very similar to things happening in UK and all around the world for
yeah.
disability movement. So, yeah, joining forces and fighting together. I love it.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
one of the things that I was reading through reviews, and one of the reviews, actually, a lot of reviews say that Fighters is a wake up call that fans
Yeah.
of boxing and the broader audiences can't ignore. How do you hope that this documentary, shifts perceptions around disability?
So I hope it shows like the barriers that we all face. I also hope it stops what I call inspiration porn, and inspiration porn is a real thing. And I think you've got this kind of attitude in society where there people are either a Paralympian and are great, or they are, although there are benefits around you, there's nothing really in the middle. There's nothing really. You're either up there, you're a great self person, you're a Paralympian, or you're not. Yeah, and yeah, we need more representation, and
Mhm.
that's what I hope Fighter's long term goal achieves. That we need more, and not just about being woke. It's about having, um, like the more the people that are visible, the more, it doesn't become a taboo. So therefore, let's get zero people visible. But there is an underlining issue that if we exclude more and more so people, then we don't be more and more visible. Because society will forget us, and that isn't what we want.
Right.
And that is another thing that Fighters does cover quite well, very well, I think. Well, I am biased. Come out in the US.
My understanding is just like kind of with yours when you said a lot of people, and I guess I would say like the perception of what we might put forth in stories and in our media and things like that, it doesn't cover all the aspects or everybody with a disability, right? It doesn't cover the,
No.
what we put forth visually isn't necessarily what's reality. And
Yeah,
people see certain things or messaging for certain things, and that's not truly what people are going through when we talk about inclusion and equity around the world. So I think it's really important. I think Fighters is doing that, showing a whole different perspective and reality of what
yeah,
it really should look like, what inclusion looks like in our world. Just one example, um and how people can be more inclusive to in
yes,
everything that they're doing, right?
yeah,
I think it's amazing. And I really wanted to ask you about one thing that I heard on the documentary, the trailer, or maybe it was in within the comments. I'll have to go back, but I wrote it down. It's called incentives like the purple pound.
yeah.
Do you know what is the
So,
purple pound?
in the UK, that is what we call the value that disabled people bring to the economy. So the pound is the UK sterling, and the colour purple is the chosen colour, and it is worth 248, sorry, billion pounds a year in the UK. So also doesn't bear in mind the money, or still people also bear in mind that when we go out, we may need support, and they may also spend money too. So also bear that in all in mind, and that is the value that we have and we can bring to the UK economy.
I was figuring that's kind of what it meant, and that, the concept, but very, in my world, I work at, disability employment, helping
Yeah,
businesses be more inclusive and providing equity, and the work that and the incentives around it. Do you this is just, I don't know, I'm going to throw this out at you and you tell me what you think about this.
okay,
There is an incentive. It's like an explicit incentive is kind of like the purple pound, where we know the economy is driven because of it. And we know that workplaces are better off hiring people with disabilities. It provides um, diversity, equity, inclusion,
yeah,
like, which
yeah,
is, obviously topics that people are not really wanting to talk about today,
no,
but it's
no,
true, right?
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
with that being said, there are other types of incentives that I'm not sure in the UK, especially the United States and our individual states here, provide to employers that are more monetary, or maybe tax credits, stuff like that. Um, what is your opinion of that type of thing? Kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what a better way to say it, but maybe like selling, like people sell, like, hey, if you hire this person who happens to have a disability, you also get money for that.
I,
I just want your opinion because it's something that is true in this state. Okay. Truthfully.
I honestly think it's a bit cringy.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a bit like you're hiring yourself person to you kind of have to, and you kind of want to tick a box, and then you get to save yourself a bit of money, and
Mhm.
then it makes you feel good because you're giving a little disabled person a pat on the head, and
Mhm.
you do a little tiny job, probably, and that's it. But most disabled people, not they all, but most people want to have an equal footing to
Mhm.
get a job. But if they lose out to a non-disabled person, the
Right.
body is fair and equitable, and then that's life.
Mm.
I don't think a disabled person should want special treatment above a non-disabled person.
Right.
That isn't equality.
Mhm.
I just think it's about having equality to have that equal. So although we have something in the UK called the Disability Confidence Scheme,
Mm.
and that is where you're meant to, if you meet the basic criteria of the job, you're guaranteed an interview. And I have my my reservations around that as well. So I do think everything should be on merit. Unfortunately, because there is this unspoken discrimination,
Mhm.
that is why local and central governments have to come up with these schemes.
Yep.
But I
Yeah.
think it's more damaging
Mhm.
than than not having it. And I think there's a way that we could, you find a way around it.
Mhm.
You could have better opportunities now with
Mhm.
disabled people. And we do have our value in the workplace. So yeah, that's what I think. I might get shouted at. But that's what I think. I think um everything should be equitable.
Mhm.
But if I don't have the right facilities or the right environment to be
Right.
able to be interviewed or assessed
Mhm.
in an equitable way, then then that's where the discrimination comes. And you can also work a different way as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, where you really want to have a disabled person in your workforce, and you then discriminate against non-disabled people, and then that then brings resentment from non-disabled people.
Yeah.
Then no matter what you do, you can't always win.
Right.
I think we just got to find a way in which, and it's about education, isn't it? Education is key, Jessica. The the less afraid of disability we are,
Mhm.
then we will get more people there. We won't be more people in jobs, dating apps, parliaments, or in your case, Congress.
Mhm.
Yeah, we want that, and we want that variety. And it's not about ticking the box. Oh yeah, we got a sale version that we can put away in our wardrobe, and when we want them out, then we'll unlock the wardrobe and ta-da! No, it's about all that, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. It's about educating and making sure that everybody, whether that's for me, Congress, state governments, providers, state agencies, understand the importance of disability inclusion, or especially around the workplace, and how it providing equity is not about providing charity, like it's
That's what we
different.
want.
It's a really, really
Yeah.
interesting topic, because I think what you're talking about, and what I've experienced at least, is that sometimes it's the charity
But we
concept.
get that. But we get that from the charity model disability.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get that from disabled people need pity and they need
Mhm.
that,
Right.
whatever, and that's where it all comes from,
That's where it all comes from.
and that's a problem in the UK,
Mhm.
but also could be in anywhere. Also, sometimes, very rarely, although we need to stop that within our own community as well. But I think that we've been conditioned to think like it.
Mhm.
It's a completely the mindset thing, and yeah,
Mhm.
but it's trying to change that mindset. If anybody does want to give me any free cake, then I might actually, forget my principles for about 2 minutes.
Everybody has a price, right? For you, is
Yeah,
cake.
yeah, definitely. Show me a good bit of uh, chocolate bun or something, and
Ooh.
um, I'm, I am sold. Yeah, sold. All right, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So it goes back to that kind of thing, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think, if I pull back, if we talk about, fighters, but also that celebrating disability, the things we've talked about today, how do you think like stories like within fighters, authentic stories help us
Yeah.
move from that charity to genuine celebration? Like, how do you think that helps? It's a big question.
That's a big question for Thursday afternoon. I think it's a gradual process. I don't
Mhm.
think it will happen overnight. But I do think the more we are seen everywhere, the better it will be. And sometimes disabled people can make mistakes, and there are debates within our own community about certain things, and that's fine, I guess.
Mhm.
But I think moving forward, we need to have you know greater involvement in housing and working, and also the way and how we are supported as well
Mhm.
to live a life of our choice, and how you can take a positive risk and not be wrapped up in quantum war just because you are disabled. I do take there are some mitigating circumstances. I'm not naive. Say that every disabled person should be able to do whatever they want. Or obviously, some people have impairment or disability that simply can't happen, and that is fair enough. But then for those that actually can, it's about trying to do that, isn't it?
Yep. We're just trying to move some of the pieces in place, I think.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly, and um, and that's what we should do.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah.
may take time, may take another generation, but I don't know if young disabled people right now are going to put up with what we put up with in our generation, Jessica. So
Mhm.
I think that is the actual change. We've got a new generation now who won't put up with any nonsense.
Mhm.
I think that's quite good and also quite key as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, that kinda helps as, those generations grow up, and we'll see some more of that impact. That will help us generate more education and advocacy and just a general sense of maybe understanding. Is that the right word? A better understanding?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Of what it means to be a single person.
mhm.
And that's it. Really.
Well, every time you come on here, I am floored. I'm moved. I'm very, very appreciative of you coming and talking about some important subjects. Sometimes they're hard to talk about, but they just need to be said. You know, we have to be
Yeah.
able to talk about these things. And I really appreciate your openness and willingness to do that with me each time. A huge, huge thank you to you for coming on board and talking about that with me and sharing your amazing accomplishments too with the fighters and all the things that you're working on and doing and moving that disability inclusion forward. So please, thank you so much. And I hope that you'll come back on with me again in the
I
future.
will. I will,
Yay.
definitely. Yay!
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
No
Um,
worries.
and as we wrap up, remember that disability inclusion is not just a checkbox. I want to get out of the checkbox mode. Here in the States, it's just like, let's put a checkbox to everything. And it's really not about that. It's about fostering workplaces and communities where everybody truly belongs and everybody can thrive. If you found today's conversation insightful, don't forget to subscribe to Inclusive Pathways on YouTube and Instagram for more episodes and for tips and practical strategies. Anywhere that you tune in for podcasts, please join us. And until next time, talk to you later.